Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. I'm Shelby McFarlane, the marketing boss, and today I am joined by the insurance boss, Nick Tuberville. He is an agent here in Arkansas, and we are not allowed to name who he works with, but it may be something that you could grow cows on. Do you grow cows? Raise cows, grow corn. Anyways, Nick, hey.
Starting off well.
Welcome back to our podcast.
Been a while.
It has been a while, a couple of years. We did that one over Zoom, though, and this one's in person.
Ooh, moving up.
Moving on up. You're way more important now. So tell us about your insurance background and how long you've been in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I got started about, this is going on I guess I'm about to celebrate 7 years. So I just been like drinking from a fire hose for a while, trying to figure it out. But always something new, always something to learn.
We just got done drinking from a fire hose at the national conference for this farm that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, well.
But so we love to talk about marketing and sales because obviously that's our life. We both market, we both sell every single day. We like to talk shit a lot about people because people just kind of suck sometimes, don't they?
I didn't know we could say those words.
Oh yeah, we can say whatever. I'm the boss.
Oh,
remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Nice.
Anyways, if they're offended, they can turn to the next one. So we love to talk about, again, sales and marketing. We had this really great conversation while we were away to this conference, and I was like, that needs to be a podcast episode. I want to dive into how he sells because, as we both know, my clients think that marketing is selling. Like they think that the social media posts that we do for them is the only way that they can grow their business or sell or anything else. So I want to dive into what is your sales process, maybe some of your training that you do with your girls in the office, things like that. Fill us in on all the nuggets.
Well, I want to start first. You talked about the marketing and the insurance, right? So when I got into this, I didn't really do a whole lot of marketing myself. The brands I worked for before they just did themselves. So one thing I learned slowly is there's vendors out there that they're always pitching you on what they can do for you and this and that. And I spent a lot of money on SEO and this and that. And I did get some progress in some of the things I did, but it didn't take long to learn that whatever they tell you, you have to kind of be able to filter through it.
Right.
So it takes a combination. So I can't just hire you and say, do my marketing and just sit and wait for the phone to ring.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way. Yes, you do get some phone rings from it, but that's not going to drive your business. You know, what drives your business is a combination of it. And so I think that sometimes I have a different perspective because I've heard lots of pitches, and you have yours and you have your space that you play in, and there's all these other people, and we get all these things bouncing off of us on top of other agents across the country who hear some of the same things or different things from different vendors. And so it makes you start looking through and figuring out, okay, what actually is what? But what it really boils down to is, if you go buy a billboard, you don't buy a billboard and sit at your desk and wait for the phone to ring.
Exactly.
If you buy an ad in the paper, same thing. I mean, it's a combination of putting your name out there, marketing yourself or your business, but you also have to have something to drive that. So if you are strictly a Facebook, Instagram type sensation, okay, that is a huge part of it, but that's a very, very small niche, and they probably have their own people, and that's probably how they built their brand or built their product is off of social media, off of this, that. And so we don't have it that way. So we are not selling a good that you get in the mail that you go pick up and take home with you. So we sell a promise, and people sometimes have a negative view of that. So we have to sell ourselves as being community involved or this or that, whatever we're working on at that time. But we also have to be hustling. My girls hustle every day looking for someone to talk to, and a conversation is how we actually make our sales. So we have to have both.
So to our insurance people listening out there, like insurance agent owners and things like that, What would you say that, like, if their phone's not ringing and they're like, we have no idea what to do next? Like, I know you've been in this position, at least while we've been together, I know you have. And so what would you think that next step is for them if they're like, they can't hire the marketing broker, they can't hire someone to come in-house and do marketing? What do you think they should do?
I mean, you got to get out in your community and get involved. You go out, shake hands, and unfortunately, where I'm at, we don't have a lot of community involvement type events. So whenever there is one, you have to get out there in it. That to me is a direct marketing. That's like shaking hands. I've heard of stories where, and I've had team members that do this, and I guess I could say I've done it to some degree, where they're getting gas, and if they see someone, they immediately, hey, let me give you my card.
Yeah.
Because we sell something that everyone has to have.
Yes.
Right? So we sell insurance. Every state requires you to have it for your vehicle. There's no way out of it.
Yeah.
And if you own a mortgage have a mortgage on your home, more than likely they're requiring you to have it too. With prices and things costing so much anymore, anything you buy most likely in most cases have a bank loan, which require insurance. So we have something that people have to have, but they have a choice because there's a lot of places to go get that, right? And all of ours is really driven on price. So you just have to be able to break that conversation open and say, hey, let me give you a chance. Just give me a chance. It doesn't cost anything. And anymore, that's starting to be kind of even a hurdle to get over. People are just like, now you're not only are you trying to battle on price, now you got to have, can I just get a couple minutes of your time?
Right.
We're begging for time anymore. People are just so busy.
That's a good point.
Everything is so technology, but everybody wants something instant gratification, and they all just go online and look it up. And then, but that when you're in the model we have, we need that direct, like, oh, let me call you or you call me and we'll try to do it, as fast as we can. So I have to even slow my girls down. Like, don't go so fast. Let's have conversations and know what we're doing. What we're insuring. So
well, and having those conversations helps with your sales, because then you can talk about life insurance, then you can talk about the other benefits that you guys have, and really getting that conversation going.
Yeah, that's the key to it, is deepening, your relationship. And this day and time, I mean, we are fortunate that we have agents who are local in most communities that, we're not a call center. We don't, you call and you're going to get me or someone on my team. And so we have that advantage. But back to your original question just calling someone or using some internet company that's going to say, oh, we're going to get you this.
Right.
This. I mean, there are lead providers and you can buy leads. But we all know in the industry, we know the close rate's very low on those. So do you want to spend your money on that? Do you want to spend it on in your community where someone in locally is at least going to get something out of it?
Yeah. So let's talk about all the marketing stuff that you've done over 7 years. Whenever you started out, I'm sure it was a bunch of like, hoorah, new guy in town. Well, you weren't new in town, but new agent in town, really getting into that community. So once all that fluff, as like I call that, goes away, what was probably the next 1 or 2 steps that you did in marketing?
I remember right off the bat, I was dealing with a marketing firm and they started talking about, well, we got to set up your Google My Business page. I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
And so they had to go in and establish my location and all this stuff. And I didn't realize at the time, I thought you just set it and leave it. But then you start learning as you go on, like, that doesn't work. Like Google, like that could be spam, or we don't know you. And 7 years in, sometimes I think Google still don't believe I'm real. They're like, oh, are you sure you're really there? Like, yeah, I'm here every day. But so I remember setting that stuff up and learning like SEO. I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was like, SEO, like, what does that mean? And then they try to explain it to you, and basically it's just like, oh, so the internet knows who you are. And again, 7 years later, we're still working on SEO, right?
Like literally, we talk about it every day.
Every day, it's always something. It's the thing right now, you know. And we're learning how ChatGPT now, or all these AI. I shouldn't just use ChatGPT, but all these AI things are now. They're just out here reading. They're just a really, really fast searcher, like a human searcher that's just unbelievably fast.
It's like they can read your mind through your question.
Yeah, and then they go out and scrape the internet that quick and just aggregate all this data in front of you. And so now we're learning, oh, now we have to SEO. Why is SEO important? Oh, now because AI is reading that too. It's not just your everyday shopper.
Right.
Now we're competing with AI space. Like, hey, we want AI to tell about us, and so now we have this in front of us. So it's always something changing.
And how do you think that that affects your sales? Like, if we're talking about like AI and trying to compete on the internet and stuff like that, like, what have you seen in your sales, maybe pitches? Have you changed that a bit about it? Like, how have you really framed your mindset around it?
Well, there's training that is, you're talking to AI. Do we know if that's effective or not? I think it's still too early to know. It is a training tool, just like going to a seminar or listening to a podcast. Like, this is a job where you throw shit against the wall, see what sticks, and we do know that, back to the marketing side and SEO, we do know that stuff works. So that's not necessarily throwing it against the wall, but this AI stuff is so new. We know it aggregates data. We know it gives you tons of information at the snap of a finger. Training against it, I think there's still a lot to be learned about that. We have a training platform that you can train against, and it has a conversation, and it'll give you feedback. Oh, you talk too fast, talk too slow, use this word too much. Blah, blah. So is that effective? I guess we'll find out soon.
Whenever you hire new salespeople, what's the first 5 days look like with them?
Chaos. Absolute chaos. So if with our company and that we're tied to, if it's just a lot to get onboarded with training and access and all the things. And the first week is basically just trying to keep them from going like, I can't deal with this. Just had that. I had one started work one day, and the technology piece and the access and all that was so much that I think she was just like, there's no way I'll figure this out. And she ran for the hills. So that's the biggest thing. It's not day 1 through 5. Those are just trash days. Those are just wasted money. Just getting on board. And then, if they're licensed, day, 6 through 25 or so is kind of really the meat and bones of it. Is when we start teaching them like how to access the system and quoting and things like that. And with technology and AI and all this stuff, everything is getting faster and easier to do, but there's still a process. Having conversations with the customer, presenting quotes, things like that. That's where you're made or break.
So I know that you've been in sales before this. What do you think the difference is that sales job versus what you do now?
Well, so
I guess you need to kind of fill them in on what that
the sales job I had before, it was what everybody wanted. We had the product we had the number one market share. We owned 80, 90 market share in the areas we
sold alcohol.
Yeah, I was in the beer business. So, and I was with the brands that sold. And so it wasn't hard. But I can also tell you, like, if you had a new brand come along or something new that was, and say it was trending in somewhere else and has really got their area yet, then getting those on the shelf and getting people to give it a try was built off relationships. I mean, getting people to try something like that, they're going to type their money for a period of time. We were always really good about helping them with it, but just getting them to try, sometimes they were just so hard to get people to move. And so how that correlates today is that I have a brand that everybody knows. Yeah. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. However, nonetheless, right? So it really comes down to that point of price. And then sometimes we're close on price and then it's a relationship issue. So, I mean, I've had people that changed their business to me simply because of a relationship that may not be technically saving money. Right. May even sometimes paid more, but they were like, I'm buying this for you because I want you. Yeah. And so we have developed that kind of role in our office where we have people coming in our office that only want to talk to this person or that person or that person. So we've even set our new call system up, our phone system up that way, is where they can dial the direct person that they deal with all the time. So that sometimes has made things faster and sometimes it causes a little bit of chaos, but we're still working on that. But at any rate, it's all about relationships.
And ultimately, we're in the people business. I mean, marketing, sales, it's all about people and how we figure them out and having to deal with them and have those conversations that are awkward and, You know me. I've been like begging for no's the last 6 months. Like, stop ghosting me. Just tell me no. Like, I don't know what else to say, except for just like, bro, what's up? You got a problem? Tell me about it, But I think marketing and sales, I used to think that I wasn't a salesperson until you came along and you're like, literally, that's what you do. And I'm like, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I do.
If you want a bunch of no's, just come to the office. We can hook you up. I can get your ear full of no's.
Remember, I did work in the office a couple of days.
Yeah, I get you on the phone.
That was
like
real
getting
bad.
people to tell you no.
I literally worked in his office for like 3 days. It was the worst 3 days of my life. I don't know how he does the general public, and all of our insurance people listening. I don't know how y'all do the general public, because it's a lot. People are a lot. At least I deal with business owners and not general public. Although they're kind of shitty too. I shouldn't really say they really are kind of shitty sometimes.
They're still part of the general public.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of the hardest people I deal with sometimes are business owners.
Yeah, I mean, great point. Great point. So I hope you guys learned something. Sales, marketing, they go hand in hand. I kind of thought earlier we should compare them as cousins. I don't know. That didn't really go anywhere. So there's that. But I mean, they're not siblings, but they're kind of cousins. They definitely go together. But you guys understand from listening to the other episodes that marketing is very important for your business. You also hear me say that it is different than sales. And that's why I was like, yo, we got to talk about the difference between sales and marketing.
Well, I mentioned earlier, like you go get a billboard and all that.
Yeah.
That's tangible. People can drive down the road and look at my billboard I bought. They can look in their magazines or papers or whatever. And when you do digital marketing, that's putting it out there. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go look at my website. You can look at it. Or you maybe have your access to your analytics and, oh, people are actually seeing it or they're not seeing it or whatever. But it's not tangible. And that's what you and I have had conversations about. It's like, I'm selling someone not tangible. You're selling them digital marketing that may not be really tangible. They're having to trust that what you're sending out there is working, and you use it through analytics and see numbers, but they want to see numbers that turn into dollars, and there is no.
That's a good thing.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. So you asked about it initially. Like one of the things I learned there is no way to calculate ROI on marketing. You cannot do it. There's no way to quantify. I am spending $1,000 on XYZ on Google Ads and say I made $2,000 off of that. You can't do it. You just can't do it. And that, for as a business owner, is the hardest thing to grasp. And you either have to accept it and say, this is just cost of doing business.
Right.
This is the same as paying rent on this building. This is the same as turning the lights on, having employees. It is all the same.
Yeah.
You cannot quantify what I put into marketing back. If I go buy $1,000 worth of koozies, golf tees, and go hand them out at a golf tournament, there's no way to say, oh, I just got that $1,000 back, because, if you directly handed it to you and say, hey, here you go, and then they call and you get a quote and you get their business off of it, well, maybe you could quantify it that way, but what's the difference in putting it out on Google Ads and all of that? There's just, you can track it. There's certain ways to track it and try to tie it together, but there's technically no direct calculation for ROI that I've seen. And maybe there is, I just haven't, found
Well, if you have like a product or something, or if you have a service that you're running a special and you're like, in this magazine, I put this coupon, like that's the only way. But with what you do, absolutely not. And even with what I do, it's absolutely not. If I run ads for, my studio here, well, I could see, okay, I've got a couple of people that came, but how do I know it came from that ad, know? And I think that's what's really frustrating in my world is that people go, I want the best bang for my buck. Like, bro, I get it. I want the best bang for mine too. I just had a client hire me on and he says, I have $1,000, do the best you can with it. Okay, well, what's our goal? Well, our goal is to get the phone ringing. Isn't that what everybody's goal is to do, is get the phone ringing? And so I'm like, well, we can do it on different platforms. And then I split that $1,000 budget up to see which one's getting the most clicks. And that's the best way, I feel like, to make sure our strategy is working. Yeah.
Well, give me that $1,000 and you go out here and start knocking on doors.
That's another thing. Yes. Sales, going door to door, having that, personal touch is definitely something that's effective. That's why all these roofing companies do it. That's why they go after storms.
I've thought about going door to door, but I'm afraid I'm going to get shot. Or
I don't think that's a good idea.
Neighborhoods, obviously.
Yeah. Think about when people come to our door, we're like, bye.
I had intention of doing that. I actually have a stack of door hangers have my information on there, and I really wouldn't worry about too much about talking to them in person.
Right.
Mainly just putting it on their door, and letting them have that in their hand. I even do direct mail. I don't even talk about that a whole lot, but we've even go back to old school sometimes. We even have direct mail that the company will mail out that's been with the company before, and they will send it in like waves. So they'll send one, and every so often they'll send another one, and they get like 3 mails or something like that. I never have to touch it, and it goes out, and it's very generic, but sometimes it's another marketing piece.
Branding.
They pick their mail up. Maybe they just look at, junk, but they saw my name, right?
Yeah.
So I paid whatever it cost me $1 for them to just see my name, and that's what a billboard is. That's what a Google ad is. That's what a Facebook post is. It's just being relevant, and that's to me today in marketing. That's all you're spending money to have your picture in front of people, your name in front of people, to be top of mind when they say, I need insurance, I need pressure washing, I need yard service. Like, I remember this person or that person. And that's what you pay for. It's just a different form of advertising.
Yeah, and it's all trial and error.
Yeah.
What's working for you, what's not, and it's okay to have different buckets. You don't have to put everything in one.
Yeah. So what if these people ask you, like, okay, hey, I've given you $500 and I don't have it. Well, are you advertising anywhere else?
Right.
Do you advertise for the paper? Like, do you have ads in the paper? Yes, I buy it. Did they give you a ROI?
Right.
Like, how do you know? Now, you said something that I had talked about before is like you put some kind of coupon or something, you can track it, but
that's not every business though. I bet
most of them don't track that.
No.
They don't track that to see. And if they did, they would find out that they have a very low ROI on it.
Oh, yeah. And I've also run into, people that want to charge 10 to 15K for their product or their service, yet they want to tell me they have $500 a month to spend. So it depends on who your person is that you're trying to reach, who's that clientele. That's how much money you need to think about spending. And if you read my book, Market Like a Boss, I've got it all broken down in there about how much money and percentages you should be spending on marketing to reach the revenue that you want that year. That's really what your end goal is like, how much revenue do I want to make? How much sales do I want to make? And then you break it down by the percentage. You may be like, well, I don't have that cash flow. I've been there. You've been there. We don't have that cash flow. So then you really got to get creative. And sometimes that means we as the business owners have to hustle. I mean, I have to sell every day and I'm almost done with it. I'm ready to have a sales team that's like, yo, you do your thing. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to teach people,
Yeah, I think they recommend in my industry, 10% of your gross revenue to be allocated to marketing.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to know that. They were supposed to buy my book and figure that out.
Oh, well, every industry is probably different.
The average is actually 25%.
Oh.
Yes, the average is 25% in what you want to make. So you're welcome, but still go buy my book, but whatever. But yeah, and with insurance, I could see where 10% would make sense just because of maybe like what you're getting back and you're only getting paid like every 6 months type of situation, like for that. So yeah.
And that number, I may be off on that number. I think that's what I heard one time, but it could be as high as 20.
So if they're like, what's the easiest way to market and get leads in? Do you think that that's buying leads from those lead sources you've done before?
Well, you want the easiest way so for easy?
Everyone says easy. That's why I broke it down to easy.
Okay. Well, what they say, cheap isn't good and good isn't cheap. So if you want the easiest way, go buy leads. And you're going to close maybe 2% of those on a 2% conversion. Depending on, and leads, that's a whole other thing that's changed too. You used to, I could get leads for a couple bucks a piece. Now they're $14, $15. And so when you're closing at 2%, boy, that is an empty hole. That hole goes deep, deep, deep. And if you don't put something in there, it doesn't, you lose a lot. Now, the good thing is we recycle those occasionally. But at the end of the day, that's an expensive phone number. And that's all you're getting.
Yeah, that's all you're getting. And you're hoping they pick up, the several times that you try to call. So let's talk to the people that may have some salespeople that are struggling a bit. I know you've had lots of people through your office. So what have you done to really help them listen? Do you listen to their conversations? Do you let them ask questions? Walk us through that.
Yeah. Crazy as it may sound, I'm going through one right now. We had a pretty bad month last month, and so we're not really hitting on all cylinders right now this month again, and something's happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they've lost a sense of urgency or what, but we're going through it now. And Monday morning, I have a plan in place that I'm going to reinstitute with them, and we're going to start having one-on-one accountability meetings.
Love that.
And then we're going to have we're going to have those on Mondays, and on Wednesdays we're going to have group meetings and just kind of see where everybody's at, just to check in. How are we? I'm going to break them down by the week. They're going to start giving me goals for that week. And on Wednesday, we're going to check in. And on Friday, we're going to see where we're at. They're going to send me emails of every Friday of a tracking of everything they've done. And so we're going to have to just go back to that. I think that they've lost a little feeling of being held accountable. And I think it's time we, went through a promotional period in the first part of the year, and their numbers, they knew that was important. So they pushed it, and now we're kind of not in that. So we're going to have to make some changes. I'm talking to a guy right now about investing in some one-on-one training, have them come to my office and train with my people. So, what's the ROI on that? There you go.
There you go. There's another investment. Investing into people and salespeople and employees. And, I have a really great girl that works for me, yet she's doing the best she can. It's just not closing. And it's not because of her. And it is a process. It does take time, and people just kind of suck these days. But it is all about holding them accountable, because we, as a business owner, we have discipline. I mean, we discipline ourselves. We wake up every day. We have to come to work, because if we don't provide for our family. So we're trying to hold them accountable as well. And that's the best way to help train them up, for sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I mean, I've done the thing too about the no's. I need you to get me 20 no's today, 25 no's, whatever that number is. And they found out really quick, like, oh, I got a bunch of no's. And then when that one yes turns, it's like, well, that wiped out all the no's, right? And so, I've got one that's got a proven track record, just started with me. And I mean, I know her potential, and she's just not there. And, at some point I start taking it personal. It's like, is it me? Like, what am I not providing for you, or am I not doing something that you need?
Yeah.
And so that's the part of the one-on-ones. It's like, what do you need from me? Because
I like that.
I know, what I need from you, and I'm not getting it. So now, okay, is there something I'm not doing or I'm not providing? And then you try to balance that out, because the next steps, are more harsh after that. So, I've had to do this before with a different team, and they kind of shook their head a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it now. I got to get with this. And so times are changing, and we're going to change with it. And
you got to.
The message is basically, you either change and do what has to be done, or we'll have to find somebody else that can. And that sounds rough, but that's just the way it is.
Got to do what you got to do, because it's your business, your future, your legacy that you're holding on to and, leaving out there, for sure. So ultimately, I mean, you should just tell everyone, once you hired me, your whole business turned around. Marketing Broker really helped you out there, didn't it?
Well, I do appreciate everything you've done for us, and I can. I mean, I can go.
It was just a joke. It's okay. You don't have to do that. I was just kidding.
Well, I won't then. You suck.
No, keep going. Tell me how great I am.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do appreciate the things you do for us, and some of the creative ideas you do to help me, and then plus also, the social media things that you do for us, and we're learning and exploring on another sector of it, and hopefully we're going to be able to crack that code and really be able to have something to show for it. And that's kind of been the piece that I've wanted to kind of get a hold of for a while, and it's just, hopefully we can figure out this technical stuff and make it work, and if we can, it's going to be really good.
And having a partner that is also a business owner helps a lot with our dynamic, but then also it helps that we're in two different worlds that technically can help each other with the sales and the marketing. We help train each other. We help hold each other accountable, making sure, and he also gets all the insights into the new things that I have going on. So, but then that means you're my guinea pig. So
that's fine.
I'm like, hey, I need $500. Let's throw it over here. Let's do it over here. Let's put it over here and see what this does. So
I mean, sometimes it's worth a try. I mean,
you never know.
I've spent more trying and got a whole lot less out of it. So
yeah. And you don't have a service fee with me. It's literally just all going into the marketing.
I think I do.
Okay, you're right. That dinner the other night. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand.
The trips, the dinners.
The trips. Okay, guys. So hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, you can always DM me, but follow him, Nick Tuberville. Actually, just Google Nick Tuberville Insurance Arkansas, since we can't say the rest of it. And make sure you follow him on social media because that'll make me look really good. I would really appreciate that. All the people from this podcast, would be really great. So, yeah.
Follow along, then they can see what you do for me.
That's exactly right, for sure. Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Love you, mean it.
Love you.
Okay, we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.